this the ultimate power cruiser. This is the Harley Davidson Breakout in the gorgeous Thunder Teal. This bike is a muscle, chopper style, drag inspired cruiser. Engine wise, it's the M8 117 engine, which is a 1.923cc. It has 106 brake horsepower, 168 Newton meter of torque, 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds, and a top speed of around 115 miles per hour. And it weighs a whopping 309 kgs. When it comes to the ergonomics and the dimensions of the bike, it's got a seat height of 665 millimeters, so very low and accessible seat height. It has a wheelbase of 1965 millimeters. This has to be the longest wheelbase of a production bike that I've ever come across. It has a rake of 34 degrees. When it comes to the ergonomics of the bike, the bars are very much like chopper style. They're wide, flat, almost a pullback style bars on it. You've got forward controls, so you feel a little bit stretched when it comes to reaching the levers, especially for a short person. It has a stretched forward controls with wide pulled back bars, chopper style, accessible seat height at 665 millimeters. So as soon as I saw the Breakout in this colour, the teal, the gorgeous Thunder Teal with a chrome, what really drew my attention was the intense chrome all over the bike. You've got it all over the engine, exhaust, which really highlights the silhouette and the features on the body, like the gorgeous spoked wheels, almost like diamond cut wheels. You've got really good attention to detail when it comes to the prominent Harley Davidson branding here on the engine, the 117 engine detail there, and the Harley Davidson logo. So this gives you that feeling of a premium, classy, high attention to detail. You have got a nice silhouette, almost a teardrop tank, a nice shape to the seat with gorgeous stitching, really holds you in place. The intense 168 Newton meter of torque really needs that shape of the seat, where you've got a curvaceous seat with almost a pillion seat acting as a backrest, and the grippy leather material really holds you in place when you're accelerating, which you really need on this bike. I love the large teardrop fuel tank with the deep and glossy paintwork and the Harley Davidson branding all over the bike. The bobtail rear hugger covering the beefy 240 tyre gives the bike that customized chopper muscle cruiser style bike that has come from factory without any modifications. The bike has full LED lighting system, front and rear, including indicators, which is great for visibility. You've got 26-inch spoked aluminium wheels. You've got a Mitch's Culture 11 tyres on the front and rear, 130 on the front, 240 on the rear. The contrast of the tyre sizes gives that chopper style where you've got skinny tyres on the front and beefy tyres on the back. The rear suspension is a hidden monoshock with hydraulic preload adjustment. The front is a 49mm telescopic forks and it's a dual bending valve. Although it's a modern bike, it still has that retro styling. You've got an analog dials here on the clocks, but with digital numbers. You've got the retro style handlebars, controls and styling of the bike, yet it still has the modern electronics and features that you would need on a modern bike. So let's gear up, let's go for a ride and see how it behaves on the road. Right guys, we are on the Harley Davidson Breakout, the beautiful Thunder Teal. I'm in the right attire to suit the bike. The bike is like a muscle, chopper-inspired drag race style bike, and it's just got that feel of a hyper cruiser, hyper muscle cruiser. Forward stretch control, and yeah, it's just such a beastly cruiser. Brakes wise, it's got a signal disc in the front, and the highlight of this bike is definitely the acceleration. Look at it. bike. It's just nothing like me. This bike is a joke, man. Honestly, it's just so extreme. You know, because it's not meant to be leant over, and I'm used to sport, and it's cranked my boot. My leg. Did you not see? That's a good shot. You can take a picture like that. So when it comes to electronics on the Breakout, other than the usual ABS, traction control, tyre pressure monitoring, you get some really cool electronics on this bike. Being a drag style bike, you get drag, torque, slip control, you've got cornering ABS, cornering traction control, and you have an analog display with digital info, USB-C charging port, and finally you get multiple riding modes. So having ridden the Harley Davidson Breakout, I have summed up a few pros and cons. So the first and most obvious pro of the Breakout is the immense torque that you get with the bike at 168 Newton meter of torque. It's probably one of the top production bikes when it comes to the amount of sheer torque, and you really do feel every bit of that torque on the bike when you're accelerating. The second cool thing about the Breakout is the stunning aesthetics. When it comes to the design lines, the in-your-face chrome, it really makes it an eye-catching bike, and it really does stand out. This bike really does combine modernity with the Harley Davidson heritage. Another advantage of riding the Harley Davidson Breakout is that you are sat on a very comfortable seat and in a very comfortable riding position, the lower seat height, which is accessible. It really does make it a pleasant and easy to ride. Considering its size, considering its weight, it really is a pleasure to ride. Another thing that really did surprise me on the Breakout, considering the 1965mm wheelbase, it handles really lovely. And although not as agile as other cruisers and other nakeds and sports bikes, it really does handle better than it looks. And it's really one of those bikes that you really need to ride it before you judge it. Now that I've spoken about some of the good things that I like about the bike, what are the negative things that could be slightly different? Firstly, I think the fact that it's 309 kilograms is rather heavy, and you don't feel it when you're going, but when you're manually moving the bike, it is a little bit of a workout. So that's one of the things that could be considered as a con. So another thing that really didn't sit well with me was the indicator buttons are on each side, which means sometimes you have to take your hand off the accelerator and adjust it so that you can reach, which means that sometimes you have to move your hand off the brake and accelerator to reach and press the indicator button on the right hand side, which is a little bit of a faff. I think I'm just used to having all the indicator controls on the left hand side. So another thing that I thought is worth mentioning when it comes to the cons of the Breakout is that the lean angle is only 26.8 degrees, which means that you end up catching your heel and the pegs of the bike when you're going roundabouts. Now, maybe because I'm a sport bike rider, I'm just used to leaning the bike a bit more. This really did catch me out a few times. It's got a low lean angle. It's not really made or designed to be a sports bike or to go aggressively around corners, right? This is more of a drag style, straight line bike. It's got beefy rear tyre to really accommodate for all that torque and power, but that could be considered as a negative since it is a road bike. This takes me on to the next point of how practical is the Breakout when it comes to the amount of chrome that's on it, when it comes to the beefy 240 rear tyre. Does that take away from everyday practicality? This rear tyre hinders handling around corners, and the 26.8 degree lean angle can hinder agility, as it's so easy to catch your heels or to catch the pegs of the bike. I think on a bike like this, I expected to have a dual discs on the front wheel for the brakes, but I guess Harley Davidson really prioritized the looks on this bike, as the gorgeous diamond cut spoked wheel takes priority here over having 2 discs and 2 calipers. So I feel like this does affect braking a little bit, coming from a sports bike background where I'm used to having anchors on the front wheel. This felt slightly different, but it really encouraged me to use my back brake a bit more. So there was a decent stopping power, but just not what I expected on a massive hypercruiser. Breakout Harley Davidson's most underrated bike, or is it all looks and no substance? Well, having ridden the bike for the last few weeks, I can honestly say this has to be my favorite Harley Davidson, and it's really one of those bikes that you really have to ride it before you judge it. See you guys in my next video. That really stands out as well is the bob style rear end, the bobtail rear fender, the bobtail rear hugger. The bobtail rear hugger really gives the bobtail rear hugger covering the beefy 240. Ugh. I need to tighten that because I had a fly going between the glasses and the eye. No. Yeah, on the way there. Oh, sorry. I don't know why I crack myself up. Sometimes I look in the mirror, I'm like, what the are you doing? Like, what is life? No, I'm just going down the roundabout, you weirdo. Smells of a kebab. Oh my God, it smells so good in there. There's kebab in there. I'm starving, man. Oh, yeah, I'm always hungry. I got hit by a fly, Matt. Yet, it's very, but still, meh. So is the Harley Davidson Breakout, is the Breakout Harley Davidson's most underrated bike? So is the Breakout Harley Davidson's most underrated bike? Is it or not? Huh? Is it? Answer. Is it? And it's one of those bikes that you really have to have a go on it before you judge it? No.
good to get that
It
off
looks
the
dodgy.
indicator.
That wasn't screwed in.
Huh?
That wasn't screwed in.
Was it?
No, it wasn't screwed in. I have summed up a few pros and cons of the Harley Davidson Hideout. Not Hideout, Breakout. What is
You're
Hideout?
thinking festivals.
Perfect. I'm on a roll today, Matt. I'm on a roll. We're rolling, we're rolling.